Hello everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to be playing Volibear and we'll be facing off against the Grand Heist adventure. I need to complete it with a Freljord champion and I have no better options. I did try it out with Tryndamere previously, but I couldn't even make it past the first encounter. The fact that the opponent just grows his weakest unit to one more than the strongest unit stats every time I rally is just too hard to beat when you're playing a champion that relies that hard on rallying like Tryndamere. So hopefully Volibear is a bit of a better choice. I'm just taking the normal Volibear setup. The Stalker Blades will help me clear the board, and the extra mana gem from the Aurelian Soul Power is always nice. The more mana we have, the more options we have. Now, all of these are absolutely atrocious. I want large units, stuff that can be played for 5 or 6 mana. Dash is tempting to cheat out Volibear from my deck, but I don't know if we can make a deck that has enough synergy to level up Thresh. Let's reroll yet again. Pantheon, Lee Sin, Elise. All of these are terrible choices. Can I get a decent one? I just want something that's big. And I'm getting none of it. There we go. Tryndamere or Jarvan. Now, Tryndamere would probably be the best choice, but the Hunter's Machete makes it so I'm not too keen on it. Honestly, Jarvan might be the better option. I'm just going to pick up the Jarvan. A bit unfortunate that we had to spend that many rerolls on our unit on our first choice, but the fact that we're being offered the remove on spirits right here more than makes up for it. Now if we play a Titanic ally, we just strike the opponent's units twice. That should be more than enough to deal whatever the opponent throws at us. Gorillith the Unscalable. As tempting as it is to just throw away all of my health for a large unit, I don't think this is reasonable at all. I kind of want to just reroll here, but I suppose the Glimpse Beyond has a vague synergy with the Subterranean Thunder. So I'm going to pick it up, even though I'm not sure if I'll be able to get some unit that I can use it on. Anivia. Will we reach 10 mana? Honestly, I don't think so. Let's just pick up the Darken Harpoon and be done with it. Durand Sculptor, the Flight, Sacrificial Scholar. I guess Durand Sculptor is the correct choice, or at least it's the least bad one. Captain Farron is a Titanic ally. Sharpsight gives me Sigils of the Storm and the Titanic ally, so sure. Thrumming Swarm is okay, I guess. Iceborne Legacy, Redoubled Valor, Slipstream. Terrible choices all around. What's the least bad one? Maybe the Redoubled Valor. At the very least, cards from the Emperor's deck are vaguely decent sometimes. And for our last choice, either Scar Mother Vrina or Battering Ram. Overall, the Scar Mother Vrina might be better just because We don't really want to rally that much, and battering ram benefits when we rally. So sure, let's pick up the Scar Mother of Rina. Honestly, not the worst deck I have gotten in this adventure. I think this is doable. At the very least I won't have to deal with massive units constantly like I did with Tryndamere. Scar Mother of Rina, Jarvan, Thrumming Swarm. Let's keep the Jarvan and toss the rest. He is the largest unit after all. I should go up to 4 mana here, yup. Thanks to our powers and our Starforged gauntlets. Now the real choice is, do I want the Gallant Rider to be immediately killed? I don't think so. I'm just going to pass.
The sun disk has risen and with it Shurima.
Okay, now that he played that, I'm tempted to just Gallant Rider. Oh, he didn't block. That's unfortunate. I kind of wanted him to block the Gallant Rider, so at the very least I would have a way to proc the Slay effect from our power and get a couple of Sigils of the Storm. But it appears I won't be able to do that, and instead I'll just have to take a billion damage. Hazard the Sunderer, sure. It helps the Sigils of the Storm replace themselves. This is way too bad. It hurts too much. I just want to play Discard Mother of Rina, I guess. It worked. It helped clear the opponent's board somewhat. When you play a fast spell, slow spell or skill, grant other dragon allies +1/+1. Not really the best choice. Let's Captain Farron. Keep the chain going with the board clear. Well, at the very least, if I run out of value, I'll be able to kill the opponent with burn. Better than nothing. I'm just doing this to set up a kill next turn with whatever I summon. It can be Volibear. Yeah. It might be a bit of a waste. No, never mind, he summoned more units. Now it's no longer a waste. I was about to say it might be a bit of a waste because Volibear just strikes like 3 times when he's summoned because of our innate power plus the Stalker Blades.
The desert by my side.
But it turns out it was fine. Let's do this, I guess. Mostly because the opponent gave me fodder for it.
I am Valhyr. I am the doom of all.
And now we just win. Little neat thing about Volibear and Jarvan. If I attack like so, Jarvan gets summoned and it doesn't destroy the Sigils of the Storm while only costing 2 mana. Sure, you can try all you want to develop blockers, but I think I have more than enough damage, yeah. 28. 1 over. We even level up Jarvan, even though it's irrelevant. Nice. It only costed us 30 health to win this encounter. Do I have extra regeneration on my Freljord champions? I hope so. Okay, I have 12 regeneration. That more than makes up for the fact that I lost 30 health there. Do I want Unyielding Spirit? It's a bait, right? Unyielding Spirit. But to be fair, Fury Horn Crusher isn't that bad either. I am going to pick up the Fury Horn Crusher just so I have a unit that I can play in the earlier stages of the game. Let's go for the card cut, because cutting cards from my deck that are bad is always good. Definitely getting rid of the Redoubled Valor. No way that was ever going to see play. 6 mana slow spell is just too clunky in a deck that wants to be summoning big units, not buffing units. I'm keeping the Thrumming Swarm, just in case I get a couple of early Sigils of the Storm. I'll be able to play this thing nicely. I can actually kill that unit. I'll definitely do that. Sure, it gives him a card draw, but it sets up 2 Sigils of the Storm, which will be more than enough to drop down Volibear next turn. Which is a great decision, because all of a sudden the opponent has 3 units on board. Yeah, I don't want the Crackshot Corsairs to get any value at all, so let's just do this, even though it's a bit overkill, because we waste like 3 of Volibear strikes. Hey, opponent, attack into me, just so you give me the Volibear level up. He did it. Okay, I didn't expect that. I suppose he wanted to get that extra bit of damage in. 8. Sure, I'll drop down the Captain Farron. Get rid of that thing right away. Volibear is more than leveled up. Do I have enough damage to win the game next turn? 37. I drop down the Thrumming Swarm. Maybe I can bait the opponent. No. That doesn't work. I guess I'm always dropping down one of my units here. Sure, let's split the Thrumming Swarm since I get another couple of copies of him back in my hand. Okay, maybe the Thrumming Swarm was a mistake. I just get way too many copies in hand. I get my entire hand flooded with a okay-ish card. Doesn't seem like that great of a decision.
I deal in coins and carnage.
No time to form up. Right.
I guess we're cutting this card from our deck at the next healer encounter. Okay, this is great. I think I can actually close out the game here just by doing this. Yep. I didn't even lose that much health this encounter, so that was a very good performance. Scar Maiden River. Nah. Saphirsa. Okay, Saphirsa is just a better valued choice than the Thrumming Swarm. Definitely going to pick her up and get rid of it at the next healer. Avalanche. Possession, Shun the Waters, here to help. Reckoning. The unfortunate part about Reckoning is that it does nothing. The opponent will most likely always have most units at 4 or more power. Avalanche could be great, except I don't think dealing 2 12 units is enough to clear boards at this state or in this adventure. I'm picking up the bouncing blades just so I can have that option. Pinging stuff sometimes is fine. Let's go for the Twisted Fate because all of the other choices don't really have synergy with my deck. I'm not really targeting my own allies, so action's out of the question, and that is way too niche of a pick. Durant Sculptor, Fury Horn Crusher. I can also just go Fury Horn Crusher raw. Yeah, let's do it.
Taking you
Ooh.
in.
The opponent blocks. An interesting decision. One that I definitely didn't expect. I'm going to pass.
Success.
Try
Gets
to see what
noticed
the
around here.
opponent does. I can actually go like so. Then pull this. It deals 2. Okay, it doesn't exactly work out the way I wanted it to. If I had 1 more mana, I could Blitz Edge that thing. I'm going to pass. I think I can
Now that's a bit
kill
better.
it this turn then,
Get bloody. Get
because I'll be able to go Cataclysm. Cataclysm buffs this up to 5. And then this is the 6th point of damage, yep. Or I can go ahead and do this. Yeah, let's do it. Hope the opponent doesn't have a combat trick. Yeah, he's in Bilgewater, I mean. The region that doesn't really have a lot of buffs. Now the problem is I'm still going to take all of this damage. Ouch. Well, at least I can play this Saphirsa. Kill 2 things. Get more Sigils of the Storm.
son of a.
Set up so that maybe I'll be able to play either the Scar Mother Vrina or the Volibear at in a later turn. I can even go Vrina now. Nah,
A little reinforcement at the seams.
let's wait.
Foul creature.
Yeah, this is the correct choice.
Slight adjustment.
Saphirsa into Saphirsa. The opponent really doesn't have a lot of
Today.
options here now. I could even go Volibear just to completely clear the board and then ensure that the
Son of a.
next turn I just win because of the overwhelm. Create a random card in hand with equal cost, it costs 0. And we got a rally out of it. That's just extremely lucky. We managed to win the game a turn earlier because of that.
Steady hands.
Never mind, I miscounted how much damage I had on board. It's still a setup for the next turn.
I shall remain.
Now that's a bit better.
And now the Volibear just closes out the game off of his attack effect. So even if the opponent did have a way to deliver that burst speed, you would still be unable to win. Or to survive in general. And now for the clock hand encounter. This is actually a little bit of a... or it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. Mostly because our hand rely... or our game plan relies a little bit too much on manipulating the cost of cards in my hand with the Sigils of the Storm. So I'm not exactly sure I'll have the correct cost of cards necessary to open the vault. Let's pass, see what the opponent does. Okay. I am going to Twisted Fate for card draw. Of course, the opponent doesn't block. He had no good reason to do so. And that's a very threatening board coming out of the opponent. What do I even do here? I'm going to pass the turn and hope for the best. I have no setup options. Let's drop down the Fury Horn Crusher and hope for the best. Okay. I'll be able to trade in with the Fury Horn Crusher there. Let's set up so that we kill this Preservationist next turn with a Blade's Edge. 12 health and a dream. Oh right, the buff effect. I completely forgot about that part. Well then, this clears a unit and deals a significant amount of damage to another. Instant Sentry. A bunch of clocklings. If only I could set up so that next turn I can drop down the Volibear. Actually no, I can drop down Volibear now. All I need is for the opponent to not attack me right away and I'm in the clear. Perfect. Thank you for waiting for me, opponent. And I even make it so my next play will be free.
I wield the storm.
At this point I don't think the opponent has anything that recuperates the amount of board presence that it just lost there. It is playing a lot of clocklings, however, and that's a bit frightening, but it should be fine. Now the thing here is that I'm pretty sure that Jarvan will just be summoned onto the board and then he will die unless one of my units dies in the process. So I think I have to do this. Yep, it was the correct decision. Or maybe not, because now I still have... or I don't have enough board space for Jarvan, so he's going to... It doesn't show it, but he's going to be obliterated after this attack. I have to do this. Why am I healing? Oh right, the Ocean Drake heals you when you play fast spell, slow spell or skill. Forgot about that part. Well, I got rid of it, so it's not like it's going to matter anymore. You know what? Sure, let's attack again with Volibear, just to keep the ball rolling with the vault. Next turn I am going to get a Fleeting Cataclysm in hand. So I'll be able to attack again with Volibear if necessary. I have 18 Sigils of the Storm, so whatever I play is going to be free. Unless it's the Fury Horn Crusher, obviously. You know what? Scar Mother of Vryn is a good choice. Just because it clears 2 things on summon. Need to play 2-cost card. Well, I can do the Darkin Harpoon here. Ooh, an 8-cost card. Unfortunately, I don't have enough mana, so we're just going for this instead. Try to keep the opponent's board as small as possible. Really? Is that the best you can do? Okay. Sure, one of your units grows to a massive amount. But my board is now extremely threatening. And of course, this changes, the value changes to an amount I don't have access to. Or maybe I do. No, I don't. Or maybe I do. No, I don't. Or maybe I do. If this works the way I think it does, I just accelerated my victory by a whole bunch. Oh right, I forgot. Jarvan gets barrier. But it was quite literally the only unit we could do that with. Or maybe not. Okay, no, it still gets barrier. But Volibear, however, doesn't. And if Volibear dies here, I should get... never mind. Yeah, doing it with Volibear has that problem. I was trying to get one singular Sigil of the Storm that would... Okay, we still got it. With a single Sigil of... No, we don't get a single Sigil of the Storm. So we can't go for Captain Farron. But we can go for the Volibear. Okay, things work out for me in the end. I did it. Even if it was an accident. Next turn I just have to hit a mana value that I can actually work with, instead of one like it happened last turn where I had to jump through hoops to achieve it. There. A clean victory, except not. I even had to struggle there at the end to find the correct line by pinging one of my units, and even then it didn't work out because I forgot that Jarvan gets barrier when it challenges a unit. But I won. Raiding party, Afterlife Forbidden, we got this. I'm going to pick up the raiding party. I like raiding party. And it's going to buff up the units on top of my deck, which in theory can give me Fury Horn Crushers that are Titanic. And that sounds extremely fun. So Fierce Volibear. I'm going to keep the Volibear and the Sharp Sight. I just need one Fury Horn Crusher and I'm set. Oh right, I don't even need the Fury Horn Crusher when I have Twisted Fate. I can go for the blue card as well
My desert, my rule.
and set up a kill on the opponent's unit. Or maybe not, because he buffed down my Twisted Fate a whole bunch.
Would you look at this place?
Sharp sight doesn't really work. I'm still going to do it because I need a Titanic unit for the next turn. Need to work on either clearing the board or
In between.
going ahead and setting up a bunch of damage for my attacking turn. I can either go Wise Fry clear 2 and be done, or I can go for Volibear and clear everything. Let's clear everything.
So stupid.
Might be a little bit too early because Volibear didn't get full value. But this also works by buffing up whatever's on top of my deck. Really now? I don't know if that's the correct choice, because I can just do this and clear one. And if you want to attack with that Sunstone Challenger, that's fine by me. That just makes it so my Jarvan is a lot cheaper next turn. Ooh, that's a big Fury Horn Crusher. I'm going to summon it. Ooh, and Jarvan immediately comes down alongside him. I forgot about that part, that it would work with my
Blood is spilled.
Lily power, the Removal Spirits. Now I can actually kill the opponent here, no? No. Not enough damage. Well, in that case, I'm just going to go ahead and do this. To try and maximize the amount of damage dealt. And I draw one extra card next turn.
When all is dark and cold, I shall
With Volibear leveled up, I can go Cataclysm as well. Deal a bunch of damage. Ooh, that's a massive Volibear. And that's a massive Gallant Rider. Really now? You're summoning 2 blockers. That's a bit of a mistake, because now I can just do this and get the benefit of a Volibear attack. Wait, Volibear himself doesn't have Overwhelm.
Let's take it for a spin.
Other allies have Overwhelm. I never noticed that. I thought for sure that Volibear himself had Overwhelm as well.
to arms.
Maybe I was just mistaken up until now. No, Volibear does have Overwhelm. He has Overwhelm by default, but it was silenced by the opponent's Quicksand. That's what happened. Are you really going to get enough of a board debuff to the point where I can't win? You're incredibly annoying, you know that? But fortunately I found an out. I just had to manifest a card with a massive amount of attack. And it's the exact amount of damage I needed to win. Never mind, I forgot the debuffs. That's how they work. Well, you're still losing here, unless you have a that. Actually, no, this is good for me because now I can drop down the massive Volibear. Wait, didn't I have a Massively buff Volibear. What happened to it? It wasn't that one. Oh well. I'll just drop down the Saphirsa. It works fine as well. Ooh. No amount of spells were able to save the opponent from the 22 attacker. That wasn't hard as much as it was annoying because the opponent kept reducing the attack value of my units. Bull Shark, let's pick up more Dark in Harpoons. What's the worst that can happen? Counterfeit production, officer backup. When allies attack, deal 1 to battling enemies and the enemy nexus. You know what? This is decent with the raiding party. One more instance of damage. It also works to remove spell shields on the opponent's units in case they have them. Now I just have to get lucky and not get hit by the Dune Swallower. I didn't. Nice. Well, in that case, I should... I'm going to set up so that next turn I can play Volibear if needed. Well, we should look at him. Too bad he isn't that great. Board in a box seems fine. Especially in a situation where I don't know
If I can save a life,
how many units the opponent can summon.
Now that's a bit better.
take the children to safety.
5 units. Okay, I'm definitely pulling the Volibear trigger here. Just get a massive board swing off of 1 unit. And I even leveled him up. And it's only the second turn. Honestly, the Arachnoid Horror might be the correct play just so I can have another order so I can get a massive board.
Sleight of Germany?
I'm getting incredibly lucky. The opponent didn't hit a single Dune Swallower off of his power.
Now that's a bit better.
No. Does attacking here kill the opponent? No. No, it doesn't. I'm actually going to give the opponent an opportunity to do something. Because I wanted him to summon a unit. But he didn't. Honestly, I don't want Jarvan to be obliterated at the end of the attack, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And this might actually work to go ahead and kill the opponent. Or at the very least it gets him very close to dying. Next turn I just have to ping him and he passes away. As it turns out, the Blade's Edge was a great pickup. Specifically just so I could
A little
close out this
reinforcement
game 1 turn earlier. Well, I would have been able to do so anyway with the units I have in hand, but still. It shows that it wasn't a complete waste to pick it up. I have a lot of money. Do I go for the shop? Babbling Bear with Excavator's Charge. You know what? Sure, it's another unit that can be played on the first turn. Spells chest or shop? Let's go for the shop. Spend our money. Hond is interesting. So is War Mother's Skull. The best defense. Okay, now my units are incredibly resilient. And Other than that, I don't think it's worth it to pick up any more cards. In fact, it might even be worth it to remove cards from my deck. I think we got all we could have out of the Fury Horn Crasher. I just don't need him anymore. The lowest cost unit in my deck, the Sculptor, at the very least ramps us a little bit. The Fury Horn Crasher is just a decently statted unit. And now with the Bjerg around, I just have a better play for the first turn. What do I do here? I'm going to Bjerg to try and set up a kill on the opponent's Ezreal. Okay, he's not duplicating the Ezreal. He's instead trying to remove my Bjerg. And he's also trying to burn my Nexus down. At the very least, the Ezreal doesn't have Deathless anymore. It hurts, but I think this is better for me than it is for him. And with him developing this big of a board, I'm tempted to just let it rip on the Volibear. Ooh, very aggressive from the opponent. He can go ahead and Mystic Shot me here. Let's see if he takes the bait and pass turn. No. Instead he takes advantage of it and goes for a casual 28 damage from hand with Mystic Shots. Can you please target the... Let's just let it rip on the Volibear. Hopefully he targets Volibear instead of my face with his next spells. It would be a really big bummer if I went ahead and died because of the opponent just burning me from hand. Let's just attack. Let the opponent decide what he does here. Okay, he's using Ancient Malediction, but he got unlucky and didn't get multiple copies of it. Nice. What's he doing? Why is he saving up all that mana? I am very worried. He has 6 cards in hand and none of them can kill me. Do you seriously expect me to believe that? Yep, that's what I figured. I was just waiting for this, I suppose. How was I supposed to, you know, survive that? The opponent just dealt 28 damage from hand. At least we had the revive so we can try again. Let's keep Captain Farron, I guess. Scar Mother of Rina as well. Okay, we have the Bjerg yet again, so it could be worse. Let's see if the opponent duplicates his Ezreal or not, or if he does the same thing he did last time and... Okay, he's duplicating his Ezreal now. Going for that game plan. And he's going ahead and playing the Ezreal he has in hand. I see. At the very least he won't have 3 Ezreals on board, he'll only have 2. And even then that's not a guarantee because I can drop down Volibear. and clear 6 immediately. So let's hope he develops a couple more units so I can get full value off of the volley. Ooh, like that. That's ideal for me.
I care not whose blood is spilled.
Just like that. A completely clear board. And I leveled up Volibear as well.
The world's a big place.
Okay.
See all of it.
Stop it with the Ezreals. They're unnecessary. Ooh, okay, this is huge. The fact that he responds with a Mystic Shot here allows me to remove the Ezreal spell shield, which results in a kill with the Glacial Storm. What an idiot. Sure, try to burn me like the lame guy you are. But in the end I managed to deal with all you could throw at me, and now I just win.
I shall remain.
Okay, that's big and all, but I have Jarvan to pull it and kill it immediately,
Ours is but to do and die.
and then I'll summon something here and go for another free attack, which will further reduce the amount of health on your Nexus to 0. Hopefully. Okay, he summoned the one thing I couldn't block. A bit annoying. But I can go for Scar Mother Vrina and clear it.
I thought you'd never ask.
Really? Another Ezreal? Does it ever end? I'm very tempted to just let it rip on the Stormbringer to deal with the Ezreal. I can also just Baron. No, I don't have mana. But I can do this. Okay, that's not enough. So I'm guessing I should do this then. Try to give the opponent something to do. Okay, obviously I have to trade in with my largest units to survive. But this is good because it sets up so that I can kill with the Baron, because all of a sudden he has a 21 attack unit coming his way. Never mind, right, I forgot that I can't summon. But at the very least the Ezreal's gone, so I don't have to worry about that being used for burn. But now my Volibear has been removed. I have a backup one, so it's fine. Let's get rid of the little annoying Blockling because it has elusive and I can deal with it. In fact, I can go ahead and do this and clear the opponent's board completely. And next turn, do I have enough to go for the kill? Well, if I don't, I can just Volibear and then immediately after that follow it up with a Cataclysm. That seems like a good plan.
No more K. I am evil K.
Fourth choice, opponent. Now I just need him to summon one singular unit and he dies to Volibear. Or to Captain Farron. Or I can just decimate, I forgot about that. Ooh, Rite of Negation. Okay then, I guess I'll just ping you down with the Blade's Edge over the course of multiple turns. If that's the way you want to play it, so be it. Do we have another? it doesn't. Turns out the decimates came in handy, even though they were sitting in my hand for most of the other games. That was close. I had no idea the Ezreal could just deal 28 damage in a single turn from hand for basically free. Well, at the very least I still managed to pull off the win right there at the end, so I'm quite satisfied. So yeah, that will be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.